this thing called life. What's happening, y'all?
What's going on?
How's it going? Welcome back. This is episode 2 on this thing called life. Let's get it. So I got a new guest with me, and this is
Angel Aguilar.
Yeah, this is my brother right here. Brother from the same mother. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, we're gonna get right into it. So, what I like to do, what I did on the last episode, is I like to ask what their ups were in this week and what your downs were. So, what was your ups this week, man?
Ups this week. Sold my first reptile.
Hell yeah.
As some of you may know, I'm not too sure, but I have a reptile business.
Reptile Club 310. I'll shout them
Club.
out in the comments and the bio and all that. But yeah, check them out. Reptile Club 310.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, talk about it, man.
So I've been doing this probably for about maybe 3 years now, something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's more of a hobby, hobby. But if business can come into it, then why not?
Yeah, for sure.
But main thing on that is just I've always found the love in it.
Yeah, it's like your passion.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like reptiles. This guy.
Yeah.
But I made my first sale from something that I produced, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that was probably the ups for this week. And also made within that sale, there was a good friendship, like friendship was created in that,
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
It's kind of cool, you reach out to somebody and that's something you produced and then.
Yeah, and you gave him a good, healthy snake, so now he's going to recommend you.
Right.
And come back to you.
Right.
He's going to be like my homie Angel.
Yeah.
He breeds good snakes, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he breeds everything, guys, like from... puts two snakes together to make a baby, he's the father.
Yeah.
He takes care of them. So yeah, check him out. Yeah, if you guys haven't. So
yeah, and then as far as downs, not too much down this week, bro. I mean, I think the ups outweighed the down this week, so I don't think it's I don't really have a down that I can think of right now.
That's
so
great, man. Praise God. Yeah, you ain't got no downs this week.
God,
That's
I ain't
good.
got no down this week. So
yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. How about you?
Ups this week. I got promoted at work.
Oh man, praise God.
Yeah, I got level 4 on my position as a tube bender.
Nice.
So and then other than that, downs. Yeah, downs. Work's been kind of hectic still.
Right.
It's pretty much work has been a real toll right now on me of what I do. Like even though I got promoted, I got told that I don't do enough for the company.
Oh,
that
wow.
I don't go out of my way to benefit the company. They're saying like I'm selfish.
Oh wow.
And I was like, man, I'm never late. I always hit rate. I always exit everything.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me that I don't do enough for this company?
Yeah.
It was kind of a slap to the face,
Yeah.
Even though I got promoted too, the same review. And I was like, man, that's messed up. Yeah. But other than that, it's been good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good. I can't complain. Like you said, the up overtakes the down. So.
Yeah. Hey, well, I think to follow up on that, that's the difference between, good and evil, You always got something that the good's going to always outweigh the bad. At least it should, So I think in that point, like you said, like you got promoted, but of course there's always going to be that bad that has to bring you down.
Yeah.
Or try to, it's not necessarily it did.
Yeah.
But you see how like, man, you were like, you were on the top and then something happens like that where they make you feel like, oh, well, we didn't really want to give you this promotion, but this is how we're going to make you feel like crap after.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that's good though. At least like, if you're doing good, then I think that's all that matters, man.
Exactly.
Just gotta say.
Exactly. I know I'm doing good, and I know they need me more than I need them.
Right.
So, yeah, at the end of the day, the good outweighs the bad for sure. All right, so I'm going to get right into it, bro.
All right.
I got some questions for you.
All
right. So question number 1 is, what made you fall in love with reptiles?
That's a funny question.
Yeah, because I have no idea.
Believe it or not, so this was during the time where I was probably like, maybe I had just moved back into mom and dad's house from when I moved out the first time
No,
with
Richard.
Richard's dad. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
living with them, and I had just moved back, and I was in the garage, and uh, we still had Brock.
Mm-hmm.
We've had
Yeah.
Brock forever, and
Whew.
Brock, if you don't know, he's just a red-eared slider. He's a turtle. So like I was saying, we were just I had just moved back to mom's house, and we still had Brock, right? Red-eared slider. He's a turtle, and he was still in that small ass tank. Remember, we had him
Yeah,
in that small
yeah.
ass tank. And I don't know, man. I just started researching and figuring out, like, all right, well, what can I do to make this guy's life better, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I was broke as hell at this time, dude. Broke at this time.
Okay. Because how old were you? Like 21,
I was
maybe?
young. I was probably like 20. No, I was a little older than 21. Probably like 23, 24, I
Okay.
think. 29 now, so something like that. And then I had no reason to be broke. I wasn't paying practically anything at Richard's house, but, I was just living young and dumb,
Yeah, yeah.
So story with that is, yeah, I started researching, and then I told mom, I said, hey, man, I want to go buy this dude a new tank, and mom was like, what, for what, and blah, blah. So I ended up going to buy this new tank, dude. Spent like I don't know, like $300-400, I think. And if I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have ended up spending that much, but
Yeah.
I didn't. So I ended up buying this dude like this cool setup, and you remember like the water was all shallow and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
But then, so me researching that though, I started finding out that there was like a market for this kind of stuff. So when I first started this, I was thinking, my whole thing going into this was like, all right, this is something I can do. Let me, you know, Brock's already here. Mom and dad are already cool with him being there, so I ain't
Mm-hmm.
tripping.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying him that whole setup, and I just, I don't know why. I just one day, I just started liking everything. But at that time, at this very time though, I didn't own any other reptiles. That was the only reptile I had. So
Yeah.
I guess to fall into the question though, it's a little fast forward. But Grandma called me and was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, Theo, Johnny's gonna move out of the house, the little house on Main,
Yeah.
and and I know you're living in the. I was living out of the garage. I was living on a futon,
It
you
just
know.
sucked because whatever the weather was outside,
Yeah,
that's what was in the garage. And like my brother he
yeah,
moved back in the winter time. So it was
yeah.
freezing in there.
But it's kind of one of those things, like most people's parents tell you, like once you're gone, a lot of parents tell you, like once you're gone, don't come back, like don't expect to come back.
Yeah. Some parents won't even take you back.
Right.
They'll say, figure it out. You're a grown man. But by the grace of God, like my dad still took him
Yeah, my
in and
dad still
was
took me
like,
back.
hey, you're not going to get your bedroom back because that's not fair to your sisters or your brother. So,
Right.
and I was still living at my parents' house because I was like 17 at the time, I believe, when he moved back. So I couldn't even move out if I
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to. So,
right,
yeah,
right.
so, yeah, he moved back in. Yeah, so
But I
it's
think,
fun.
I think, to finish the question, I think that was the main thing. That's where the love of reptiles started was, taking care of what we had already had because it was your pet, but
Yeah, so I actually got that turtle when I was 6 years old. Like I couldn't take care of him.
yeah,
I was so little, but yeah, like my brother, he took over that. He was like he always talked crap like, man, this ain't even my turtle. I'm over
yeah,
here washing it and taking care of him. But you know what? It's crazy because everything falls into place. It's crazy.
yeah,
He took care of that turtle, but now he's breeding snakes,
yeah, yeah.
so
Right, that
he
is
ended
crazy.
up finding his passion by doing that. It like helped him, like he was like, oh man, like because that turtle like lived in a little
Little tank,
little
dude.
tank for so many years. He's still alive, guys.
Yeah, he's still alive.
I am 26 years old. He's
Yeah,
been alive for 20 years.
yeah,
So yeah, it's crazy, and that's because of him. Like he
yeah,
took care of this turtle and kept him alive. So and he lives good now. He's got a big old tank by himself. But yeah, he took care of him for me when I couldn't. But he just ended up saying, "Hey man, this is my turtle now." And I was like,
yeah,
"Hey bro," I was like, "Go for it, dude."
yeah, yeah. Nah,
You deserve it.
but I think that's where it started.
Yeah.
That's where it started, and then when I moved into, like I said, fast forward when I moved into to grandma's house,
Yeah.
that's when I kind of my first two reptiles were after the turtle was a bearded dragon and a ball python, just
Yeah.
a normal one from the store,
Yeah.
Petco, whatever. And now that I had my own space and no one to tell me, oh, you can't or
You
can do
can,
what I
yeah.
want, so I ended up just doing it, and I think that's where, like I said, my mind going into it was like, oh, I'm gonna make money, like this, like there's money here.
Yeah.
Let alone 3 years down the line,
No
struggling,
money.
no money,
Lots of money.
with after seeing people though that are into the same interests that I have within the industry, um, you find out that it's more of a passion than it is a business. If you're in, I've seen this firsthand. If you're into reptiles for the money, you're never gonna enjoy what you do
Yeah.
because these are living things, man. I mean, yeah, they're snakes. People are scared of snakes. People think right off the bat, oh, they bite, they do this, but in reality, it's just like owning a cat or a dog, except they're in an enclosure. It's two different things,
Mm-hmm.
but um, you still find the uniqueness in an animal in that species than just in dogs. Like
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, that's probably where the I don't want to keep going too far on this, but that's probably where the love started was just looking into Brock, getting him taken care of
Yeah.
in a better way because it's like it wasn't fair to him.
Yeah.
They rely on us. There's
Yeah.
nothing they can do. I mean,
Yeah.
we feed them, we make sure they have the lights and everything that they have because we that's just how it is. We took on that responsibility. So
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
that's probably where it started, and you see where it's at now. So
Yeah, that's dope, man.
yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to know because I never
yeah,
like
yeah. No,
actually
but
knew how you got into
but see, that's the
reptiles.
thing
Yeah.
though. Like there is no correct answer for that question. To be honest with you,
It
I
just
don't.
like kind of
It kind of
built
just
up over
yeah.
time, huh?
It just built
Yeah.
up. It kind of just you know. I mean, I guess I'll just elaborate. So I ended up losing the bearded dragon
Yeah, I remember that.
um,
Yeah.
because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I thought, boom, I put him in a tank, get him his lights, and boom, it's gonna be easy.
Yeah.
Uh, that didn't end up working out. So what ended up happening is one of my friends, they had an iguana,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, hey, I know you have reptiles and stuff. Are you interested in taking in an iguana? Let alone, I had no idea of
This is Mary Jane, right?
yeah, Mary Jane. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
her name is Mary Jane. She's a green iguana, and no idea what I was thinking, bro. No idea. Ended up taking her. She was in this 55-gallon, dude,
I remember that.
she started off at like this little thing. Remember,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
tiny, dude.
yeah.
And sure enough, I'm like, man, what the hell did I get myself into?
She loves this dude. Like,
Oh,
she,
it's a love hate
yeah,
relationship, but
yeah. She be getting crazy, but like he'll pet her, and she's like, yeah,
yeah. I mean the way. So she was a rescue, So she when she came to me,
Yeah,
man, she had, there's a lot of things that I mean, you know, people think when you get a little lizard like this, it's easy, man. It's not easy, but a lot of people think, oh, let me just put a light bulb
and they're sad.
and they're
Yeah,
set. Nobody thinks about like the correct diet, the correct vitamins and stuff that you got to feed them and stuff
mm-hmm.
like that, just for them to, it's like us.
Yeah,
Our parents provide us with the certain things that we need to grow healthy.
yeah,
And when you think to an animal, same thing with dogs or cats. You think, oh, let me just put a bowl of food down and water, and they're straight. But
yeah.
let alone, there's everything else that comes with that. Flea medication and all this stuff. Same thing with reptiles, bro. It's the same. It just depends on how far the owner wants to go.
Yeah.
How far you want to take that responsibility.
Like you could do the bare minimum,
Right.
or you
Right.
can go above and
Above
beyond
and
and
beyond.
really take care of your animals.
Right. Which I did.
That's where the passion comes in.
Yeah, I
though,
think that's where
you know?
I think that's where it's like you see the animal and it's like they didn't ask to be in captivity.
Yeah,
I think that's where it comes down to is
It's true,
they didn't
yeah.
ask to get bred. Like they did. Most of these animals live in wildlife, bro.
Yeah.
Like Florida and which they are invasive in Florida. That's why they're sport. They're sport to kill out there, sadly. But
Yeah, sadly. Yeah.
but you see all that wild. You see how much what they got to thrive in, bro. And we have them over here in a glass tank. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
but like you said, that's where the passion comes in, and the willingness to seek out that knowledge to take care of these animals.
Yeah.
So long story short, that's where it pretty much started was with her. Like, I think that's probably where the real love came into it because, man, dude, you remember, dude, she gave me a hard
Yeah,
time,
really
dude.
hard time.
Hard time. She would whip the glass. Remember?
Yeah,
She's crazy,
when
dude.
she was hungry or just upset, we would be chilling, and out of nowhere, she'd just start going crazy, boom, 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 like hitting
Yeah.
the glass, and
Yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah.
like, what the heck is going on? Like,
Yeah,
what was
yeah.
that? And
Yeah,
he's like, hey,
she's still
calm
she still pisses me off to this day, dude.
down.
Like I said though, it's understandable, man. I mean, even with her being in that big enclosure,
Yeah,
I've spoke to people that have the same species as me and or line of animals or whatnot, and
yeah,
a lot of people tell me, hey, you got to give them freedom. Like you got to, how would you feel if you were like in a cell all day, like, and you don't get to go out or nothing. Like, how
yeah.
would you feel? Like, that's true, like,
It sucks.
So I think that, but long story short, I mean, we're going too far on this question, I feel, but that's probably where it started was with her. Like, she was a rescue animal, but she also got me to seek out the passion and how to take care of them. Because she's probably one of the hardest animals to take care of. Green iguanas, I don't recommend. You see them at the store, dude. That's not a beginner animal, man. You better be ready to build this sucker
Yeah,
a building big
right.
enclosure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, we're gonna move on to the next question. All right. So, question number 2 is: can you recall a stressful event in your life, and how did you overcome that event?
Man, that's a hard one. I don't know, man. It's kind of. I guess. I guess the most stressful, I guess I could say, was when I was gonna do the transition between jobs.
Oh, okay.
Um, I think that's a good one because it's something that I can actually, think about.
Yeah.
So I was working with TTX for 7 years of my career, and Uncle Mario offered me a job. Well, Uncle Mario was like, "Hey, there's a job opening here if you're interested."
Yeah.
And during this time, I was been working at TTX, and if you guys don't know what TTX is, it's a railroad company.
Yeah. He was
Um,
a railroad welder.
I was a mechanic.
Oh,
Yeah, I
mechanic.
was
I'm
a trained
sorry.
mechanic. And then I went into what I'm doing now is I'm a welder fabricator. That's what I do now.
Yeah.
Due to the experience of what I got from over there. But
Mhm.
I remember during this time, man, not sleepless nights, but man, I was battling with it, bro. Like, man, is this what I'm meant to do? Like, is this the right choice?
Yeah.
Talking to May, which is my fiance, talking to her like, hey, is this the right choice? Like, what do you think? And meanwhile, I went through a bunch of ups and downs with TTX, man. Like,
Yeah,
I got,
he worked real hard with them, man, and
yeah,
and he wasn't getting paid enough for all he's done, and he would he would apply for new positions like as a supervisor or like
right,
more leadership, and they would deny him, and
yeah,
he's like, what the heck, like you're hiring people as leadership that have been here less years than
yeah, less
me
than years than me,
and
yeah,
less experience, and he's over here training people to do his job
right,
that are above him, and he's like, that doesn't make any sense.
right, right,
So that's why he wanted that transition, because
yeah,
it's not like right
right.
to be stuck in a place like that.
But I think like during this time, I remember it was very like, I was dealing with a lot,
Hmm.
but with the help of my fiance, man, shout out to her, bro. Uh,
Shout out to May.
during all this stuff, I remember just talking to her, and then just this is the right choice, and she's like, yeah, yeah, I got weekends off now. I didn't have that before.
Hmm.
My
Yeah.
schedule is pretty, solid. Cause man, when I was with TTX, you remember, I started off as working graveyard when I very first got there.
Yeah. It was
Graveyard,
what, 2 to 10?
no, this was 10 at night to 6 in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's even worse.
Then I transitioned to swing shift, which was 2 in the afternoon to 10 p.m.
Yeah.
at night, and then finally I got first shift, which
Yeah.
was transition. It changed every once in a while.
Yeah.
5 a.m. to 1:30, or either 6 a.m. to 2:30, right?
Yeah.
But I had Thursday, Fridays off, so I missed out on a lot. I missed out
Yeah.
on a lot. There was a lot of things that I didn't get to attend to due to this company that I'm giving. Like you said, I'm breaking my back for.
Hmm.
And because for a long time I didn't want management, but I figured, you know what, like, you know, I want to provide for my family. You know, that's kind of where I feel like the sacrifice comes in. Like, okay, well, I'll sacrifice my schedule, my time, to give my family a better life. You know, which,
Yeah.
May is my family. You know, I don't have kids yet, but that's kind of where I stand right now. But that was probably stressful, man, because I remember I was battling with it. I remember I'd take a shower and I would just sit there like blank, bro. Like I would just sit there like, man,
Yeah.
like, is this the right choice? Because once you put your 2 weeks in, it's pretty much like that's a wrap.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember getting to the so I ended up taking the job. And man, let me tell you, dude, first week, dude, I'm texting Uncle Mario like every day, like, man, what the fuck,
Yeah.
like I didn't like if I knew it was gonna be like this, I wouldn't have taken the job. You know,
Yeah.
blaming him, which is
No,
not
I
even his
remember
fault.
you were
I was
like, you were
pissed,
so
dude. I was
pissed. Yeah.
pissed. You know,
Yeah.
I was battling my demons there at that job, bro. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And you know what? I finally realized I was like, you know what? My boss is a good man, bro.
Yeah.
So I think that's what allowed me to overcome the stress. Is he told me, he's like, hey, why are you stressing? I remember one time I came to him and I said, hey man, like, I don't know if this is for me, bro. I remember talking to him. I told him straight up. I was like maybe like a month in and I was like, hey
Yeah.
man, I don't know if this is for me, man. I think I messed up. And he's like, what's going on? Talk to me. And I was like, I don't know, man. I was just like, you know, I thought I was just gonna be welding. I didn't know I was gonna have to take on all this like putting stuff to like welding, yes, but I didn't know I was gonna have to like practically be, you know, like trying to build something new that's already been like broken, you know?
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, just relax. Like, take your time, bro. I'm not on your back. And I remember like the boss, he was genuine with me, bro. He was literally being genuine with me. He was just
Yeah.
like, hey, I could hire anybody, Angel, and they'll be in the same position as you. He's like, I could hire a welder that's been welding for 20 years, bro. But if they've never welded on any of this stuff, they're not gonna know the job. He's like, so just give it time. Give it time, and I promise you, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
So all right. So, you know, a couple months go by, and I don't know how long I've been there. I've been there since October of last year. So
Oh,
almost a
you're
year.
almost hitting
Almost
a
a
year,
year.
yeah.
Oh, wow,
10 months,
which is
yeah.
crazy. It's already been that much.
Yeah.
And you know, like coworkers are kind of like whatever, you know. I mainly took that job because I was comfortable because Adrian, which is, you know, our family friend, he was a mechanic there in the same
Yeah.
department as me. So I was like, cool, I know somebody, you know.
Yeah.
He ended up leaving. You know, he ended up leaving. I got hired in October. He ended up kicking rocks in a little bit before July of this year. He ended up kicking rocks. I think he left like in April or something like that.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was like, man, what am I gonna do now, dude? Like, shit, he's the only one I knew that I was cool with, you know.
Yeah.
But I just put my pride aside, bro. I said, you know what? Let me just put my pride aside, and I think that was the problem. I was trying to act like I was better than, not better, but like really, this is what I'm gonna. This is what I took. This is what I left. Like I left over there where I had it good. I wasn't doing
Yeah.
shit, and I come over here and now I get it. Like I gotta bust my ass. I'm new, but yeah, that was, oh man, dude, it was stressful, man. Like I remember I'd come home and I asked me, bro. I would come home and I'd be like, man, I fucking hate that job, man. Like, what did I do, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, everything started to fall into place. Like where I'm at now, I think I think where I'm at now, I just, like I said, you know, how I overcame it is just putting my pride aside, and I was like, you know what?
Like focusing on the good. Yeah.
I'm gonna learn everything I can here. I'm gonna learn everything I can here, and just try to evolve from it. You know, like I mean, you know, like you know how I always talk about the old man Manuel. You know, I always talk about him, and you know, he gave me a hard time at the beginning, but I get it. You know, he's been doing this for the last 30 years. See somebody new come in, like, oh shit, like this guy, you know, they're trying to replace me. You know, that's how their minds work. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
older cats, that's how their minds work. You know,
Yeah.
and I just said, you know, I ended up just one day. I remember, I don't know if he pissed me off or what, but I remember telling him, I just told him straight up, I got pissed, and I think I was pissed. I told him like, hey, I'm here to learn, dude. I'm not trying to take your job. I'm not trying to take nothing from you. I just want to be able to be in my booth and know what the hell I'm doing. So if I come and bother you, it's not because I'm trying to bother you. It's because, like, dude,
Yeah, I need help.
I'm
Yeah.
a sitting duck, dude. Like, I have
Yeah.
no, like, there's times where I would literally, like, just sit there, like, in confusion, not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
But that was the pride at the same time because I was like, man, I'm not gonna go ask that old man. I'm not gonna go ask that dude nothing. Like,
Yeah, he's a dick.
yeah, like you know, like fuck that. Like who is he to tell me? You know, like nah. But
Yeah.
I ended up I ended up just
Putting
putting
it
that shit
aside.
to the
Yeah.
side and just telling him, hey man, I need help, bro. Like I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Like I
Yeah.
need help. I was like, yes, I know how to weld. And I was like, that's not the problem I'm having. I'm having issues with like, hey, what goes here? Like what material do you use? You know, give me some insight. And sure enough, bro, like I think for him it kind of looked like, like for him it kind of felt good. Like, oh damn, like you know he's trying to learn from me. Like I'm able to teach him like what I know, you know. And that's why now it's like we're cool, you know. We're cool now, you know. I
Yeah.
put that pride aside.
It's awesome.
I think he put the pride aside too, because you know he's looking at me like a young buck, bro. This guy's 50, he's almost
Yeah.
60 years old. He's
But
looking
it's
at,
been like 10 months now, so he's probably,
yeah, he's
oh yeah,
probably like, oh damn, this guy's
this
cool.
guy, he actually
Yeah,
does like work hard, and
yeah,
you know,
yeah. You know,
he's
like
respectful.
yeah, like he's trying to learn.
Yeah.
He's not just here for a free paycheck. You
Yeah,
know, he's trying to learn.
exactly.
You know, so I think that's how I overcame that though, man. And
It's
May,
awesome.
man, May, definitely May though. May was just like, hey, just give it time. You'll be
Yeah.
all right. You know, she was like, you got the weekends off. You got this. She's all like,
Yeah.
it's all right. She's like, you're only working 9 hours. She's like,
Yep.
you're all right. You know, it's gonna be okay.
9 hours, man. That's
Yeah, that's all I gotta do, dude. Most of the time, most of the time. Shit, sometimes I'm like, hey man, I'm out of here 2:30, bro. I ain't sticking around today, buddy. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably how I overcame that. What about you? Have you had when's the most stressful time for you, and how
Most
did you
stressful
overcome
time.
it?
I think so for me, most stressful time was when I had like 6 jobs in 1 year. You remember that? I was
Yeah,
living with you at the time.
yeah.
So I was a server back in the day. I was always in
Oh
the
shit,
food
I forgot about
industry.
that. Damn.
I was always in the food industry, and um, I remember I left. I used to work at Olive Garden as a host, and I remember leaving because I told them, hey man, it's been 8 months, 9 months since I've been working here, and I like know how to do the host position
Yeah.
super easy. Start training me as a server, you know?
Right,
I
right.
want to move up. And they would only move up the women.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
I
was
remember you.
sexist or something.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just told him, you know what? I'm over it.
Yeah.
So I ended up leaving and going to the Crab Shack, and I was a server there for like about a year almost.
Right.
And
Right.
but what sucked there was,
Hey,
let's say,
meanwhile though, not to interrupt, but meanwhile, during all this, he had decided to move out with me. You had
yeah,
moved out with me, and we were living together at grandma's house.
yeah,
And
because he couldn't afford
I couldn't afford the rent by
the full
myself.
rent, and I actually was going to school at the time and working 2 jobs,
Yeah.
and just to help out my brother, you know,
Yeah.
because I felt real bad about him living in the garage, and this was an opportunity he couldn't pass up. So I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna help him out. And meanwhile, we did not like each other.
Yeah. During this time.
We did not like each other during this time. We had a bad relationship almost our whole life.
Yep.
Yeah, and it wasn't because of just us in general. It was like childhood trauma, stuff that we went through with our parents and stuff like that.
Yep.
But yeah, yeah, I ended up back to the thing. Sorry,
Yeah.
I ended up leaving the Crab Shack because I had to share tips all the time, and I was working so hard compared to these
Yeah.
dudes. Like black people would come in and they'd be like, "Oh, I ain't taking them." I'm like, "You racist mofos, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take them. You're crazy.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
serious? You're
Yeah.
telling me you're not gonna take them because they're black? It was crazy, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to work for a company like this. No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the people they're hiring, and so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna see if I could go back to Olive Garden now
Right.
because I got the experience. So I
Yeah.
talked to Richard,
Yeah.
his boy, the one that he moved out with,
Yeah.
that he was
Muhammad.
talking about earlier, and he was like, "Yeah, I already talked to Ruben. He was the director or whatever, or the manager,
Yeah.
and he already said like, yeah, he'll get you an interview, that he's interested in stuff."
Yeah.
And I go to the interview, and it was like a slap to the face, bro.
Wow.
He literally told me, you left. So like, what makes you think I don't think you're gonna leave again? Why should I hire someone like you?
Oh wow.
Yeah, that isn't like, And I was
Yeah.
like, I told him straight out. I said, you know what? You didn't give me that chance to move up, and now you're telling me
And,
this. I
yeah.
literally went to a different company just to get the experience so you could hire me as a server.
And it's funny that you say that because I remember during this time I was still close to Rich at this time.
Yeah.
I'm still close with him, but not as much as before.
Mm-hmm.
But it put a bad taste in his mouth as well.
Yeah, cause he told, Ruben told him
Right.
something totally different, and he told
Right.
me something
And
different too. Because I
Rich,
had his number. Yeah.
and Rich is the type of person that, your word is everything to him.
Yes.
So
exactly.
as soon as
Same
you
here.
mess that up,
Yep.
that's it. That's it
Yeah,
for you,
and
buddy.
it was real rough because I quit my job and I didn't end up getting this job because he told me that and he was like, I already hired new people, so I was just
Meanwhile,
having this interview because someone asked me to. I
meanwhile,
was like, what the heck just happened right now? Like, I wanted to reach across you know
Yeah,
me, dude. When I
yeah.
get pissed, I wanted to reach across and just slap that fool in the face, but
Yeah.
but
And meanwhile, I wasn't the most understanding person at this time. So the way I was is not only were you stressing about that, I was this kind of guy like, hey, I don't know how you're gonna find the rent, but you better have the rent.
yeah, that
So
too. He was pretty rough at the time, and I
yeah,
was like, I'm gonna find a job, but I was
yeah,
like, get off my fucking back,
yeah, yeah. No, that's how it was.
Yeah, so
That's how it was.
we were for a while we were arguing around that time because I was still going to school at that time. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
was
still going
still
to
going to
school.
school at that time and
Yeah.
working two
Yeah.
jobs because I was a lifeguard too.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah.
I was a
That's right.
lifeguard for like 7 years. So, and but I ended up just applying to so many places, man. I was doing jobs that I thought I'd never do. Like
Yeah, I remember you
I
working
ended up
UPS. In
yeah,
and out.
and I before UPS, so I was working at Hyundai as a car salesman.
Yeah, dude. But what's crazy about that? What's crazy about
Yeah.
that? Cause you're working at Hyundai, but little did you know it was funny because now you've at this time, I like I said, bad relationship. You were
Yeah.
driving that piece of shit that Dad bought us. Bought me.
Suzuki.
Yeah, the Suzuki Reno, bro. Like, what in the fuck kind of car is
Yeah.
that? But it was funny though.
Yeah.
That taught you though when we went to. I remember when we went to go buy you your first car, the burgundy one. No, the
No,
white
it was the
one.
white one, the
no,
one
no,
that
but I
Sarah
wasn't. I
said,
wasn't
yeah.
there for that one.
Yeah.
But I remember. But
burgundy
but
one,
during
yeah.
the white one, you weren't a Hyundai car salesman yet.
No, I wasn't.
So
no.
when we went to the burgundy, remember that dude didn't know what to do because it was all three of us against him, and he was like. And it was funny because the whole time you're like, "Hey, hold on, let me calculate the numbers." I remember, and the guy's just sitting there like, "What do you mean calculate the numbers?"
Yeah.
This dude starts just breaking out the numbers. He's like, he's dude to break out the numbers, and he tell the guy, "So you're telling me that you're gonna charge me this much? That's not even it was crazy."
Yeah, like I was just making him
Yeah.
like look dumb, and
He made them feel
he was
uncomfortable,
like,
man.
"You're the first guy ever that I've ever had that knows his shit like this."
Yeah, dude. No, the one that was real funny was remember when I was gonna go buy that truck, the Tacoma.
Oh yeah.
So we ended up the guy was Puerto Rican and black, remember?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, Boricua. But let me tell you, he left that shit outside, bro, because when we went in there, he's like, nah, there's nothing I can do for you.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do for you. And my brother kept telling him, like, bro.
If you don't do this, like we're out. That's
Yeah,
cool.
we're out.
I was like, we're cool with it. Like
Yeah.
he was like, but that's where the Puerto Rican came in. He was prideful too. He was like, you know what? All right, cool. See ya. Like they were rude, man.
Man, I remember walking out.
Yeah, if you guys ever go to Carson Nissan, bro.
Yeah, nah.
Don't ever go there,
Yeah,
man.
Fuck,
Carson Nissan's trash.
Let me tell you, bro. Let me tell you, shit. I wanted to fight somebody walking out of there, dude.
Yeah.
I told that dude on the way out, dude. I said, "You ain't no Puerto Rican, dude." And I walked out. I said, "You don't know the bloodline."
Yeah,
homie. I
he
said,
was a prick, bro.
yeah, man. He telling me, "Oh, there's nothing we can do," and then the manager would come in, give us a hard time. And I remember my brother. It was funny. We walking out of there. And he walked up to the window. He's like 36,000, and I said, "Fuck those fools," Excuse my French, and I was like, "Fuck those fools, Matthew." And this dude's like, He's all like, really? You guys can't do 36,000? And meanwhile, I was
It's
trading
like
my.
you broke as
Yeah,
fuck,
dude. And
man.
this fool was all
Fuck
like,
out of
fuck
here.
these fools. You know,
And it wasn't even like a top of the line Tacoma, bro. It
yeah,
was like a normal,
it
like
was a TRD
it
Sport, I
was a
remember.
TRD Sport. Yeah,
Which
it
is,
was.
you're right, though. It's not
Yeah,
top
it
of the
wasn't the
line.
top, but it was like, and it had mileage on it.
It
It
had
was
mileage.
used.
It
It was
had more
used.
mileage than what I was
And they were,
trading
and
in.
he was offering 36K, and they wouldn't take it. And
They
I
would
was
not
like,
take it, dude.
you're
Would
full of
not take
crap,
it.
bro. I was like, you're full of
But
crap.
that's what's funny, though. You got that. I remember when I walked to the bathroom, that dude's all
Yeah.
like, hey, you sold cars before? And you were like, he was like, yeah, I used to work at Honda. He's like, yeah. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I
He was like,
figured
I could tell.
that.
I
He's
was
like,
like,
I could
yeah, man.
tell.
Yeah, that place taught me a lot about buying cars. Yeah, and I only got the job just to get a paycheck to pay rent, man. And I was working at UPS, and while I was working there, that's when I got they called me at SpaceX, and they were like, hey, I had the interview, and then they were like, the same day they called me, and they're like, hey, we really liked the interview, and
Yeah.
we want to hire you. Like,
That's
I know
cool.
it's the same day, but
Yeah.
when can you start?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like,
I
oh,
remember
I
that.
just got this job at UPS, so let me work here for a month to get a check, and I'll come to you guys.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's more than, like,
Yeah.
like, that's cool. So I ended up doing that. Got the check from UPS to pay my bills.
Yeah.
And then I went to SpaceX, and UPS offered me a full-time job.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
during,
offered me a full-time job as working in the warehouse. I mean, shoot, I should have took that job because
you
drivers
got
are
paid
making like 100-something thousand. I'm like, that.
170K, baby.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? And that's what he was doing, you know. The
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
he was like,
Yeah,
I'll
because I
make you
remember,
a driver quick.
I remember you had a really good relationship
Yeah,
with
with the driver,
with the
and
driver
he was
you
there
had.
for 25 years.
Yeah.
He's been working
And
since
he
he
was
was
all,
18.
and the funny part is you told me, you were like, I remember you told me that he was like, he didn't really fuck with a lot of people, but he told me that something
Yeah,
about
he said,
you.
you know, he's like, you're the coolest, one of the coolest helpers I've ever had.
Yeah.
Because it was a seasonal thing. I was helping. I was just helping him deliver packages because Christmas time is so busy that so I would get one package, he would get one package, and we would like do like 4 houses on the same block.
Right.
You know, so
yeah.
he can do it quick and
Yeah.
his time. You know, his 8-hour shift. So and he ended up offering me a job, and you know. And I bought him a Pacifico because I knew
Yeah, I
he loved
remember that.
Pacifico. I bought him a Pacifico on my last day. And he was like, oh, you didn't have to do that, man. I was like, yeah. I was like, don't drink that shit when you're driving, though. he was like, you best believe I would do that. Nah, I don't know if he did, but yeah, but he was a cool dude, and his name was Angel, too.
Yeah,
so it was funny.
yeah. That's crazy.
And, yeah, but, yeah, I was glad I took the SpaceX job, you know. I ended up taking it, and I started off as a dining room attendant, and now
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
And
Starting
now
in the cafeteria.
now I'm bending all the tubes for Raptor, and there's only 3 of us
Right.
that are tube benders. So
Yeah.
for all like you know the Raptor,
Yeah.
and yeah, so yeah, God is good, man. God looked out for me.
Well, how crazy is that, though?
Although like I had to quit school, and I lost my job, and I was like so stressed, you know.
Yeah.
God was looking out for me. He had a better plan, you know. So
That's true.
And I ended up, yeah.
God's always in our corner, man. Even if you keep pushing him away, he's still in your corner.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, as long as you're washed, you're washed by the blood, and
yeah,
that's why I always tell my pops, our dad's hardcore,
yeah,
I always tell him, I said, hey, man, because, for a long time, I didn't go to church. I still don't go to church as much.
Yeah.
I don't go to church, to be honest. And, I told him, I would always tell him, the church isn't going to get me to heaven, Dad. Church isn't going to get me to heaven. I get it. I get it. 100% faith without actions, are dead. I get it. But at the same time, though, is, I got to live my own life. My dad can't, he can't get me to heaven no matter how good he is or tries to be.
yeah,
You get what I'm saying? So that's why I always, same thing with you, though, as much as our relationship was broken at this time, it's funny how I know so much, though. Like, our relationship was damaged, but, we still talked when it was just me and you.
yeah,
I mean, we because it wasn't really, the demons didn't really come out of me. Because you remember during this time, I was probably like borderline alcoholic at this time.
yeah, definitely.
Literally drank almost every night.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Like
know.
just cause, like you
just
just
'cause.
watch TV Drink a 12-pack.
Yeah, drink a
Easy.
12-pack. Yeah,
Easy. Yeah.
and this was during the time where it was just me, no girlfriend. Matt had Sarah, obviously.
Yeah.
No girlfriend, no nothing. Just broken, like lost, during this time. And I think it's funny though, because like all these stories that you're saying, I know, but I'm, I'm aware of all of it, which is kind of funny. So, but yeah, just to let you know though, like I am proud of you. If anything, this guy almost makes more money than I do. Shit, and he's been around the block. I mean, we're hard workers, man. The Aguilars are hard workers, man. I don't care what nobody says. I mean, our bloodline. I mean, we come from some crazy background, but let me tell you, man. I mean, you ain't gonna find people that work harder than us. That's for damn sure. If we want to make money, we're gonna find a way.
Yep. All right, so that was good, man. That was good. Question number 3 is, when did you start seeing me as your brother and a friend and not your enemy? Because yeah. I know you were just talking about that.
I think, man, I'm not trying to get emotional, but I think when you got married, I think that's when it clicked for me.
Yeah.
I got to see you happy.
Yeah.
And I knew at that point there was nothing I can do, like, to hurt you anymore,
Yeah.
And,
Need a tissue?
No, I'm good. Nah, because I did a lot of wrong to you, and, I know I've asked for forgiveness and stuff. And
I forgave you, bro. I don't know if you know that, but definitely I forgave you.
No, I know, man. I ain't the type of person where, like, God forgives me,
Yeah.
I sought it out, man. I sought it out.
Yeah.
And I think once you turn 21, okay, so a little backtrack. When you turn 21, I think that's when we got a little bit closer.
Yeah.
I remember when you turned 21, we threw this big old party for you at the house.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time.
And I remember just getting closer with you, man. I remember we just started talking, we just started talking. And we still have ups and downs, we still argue and stuff. And but I remember when you turned 21, I was like, damn, like my brother could drink a beer with me now, like without trying to hide it, like we go have a beer together, cool.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, this was still when I drank a lot, I still drank a lot. I was kicking it with the wrong crowd and stuff like that. But I remember when you got married, I think that's when I was just so happy for you, man. Like even me and May, I was with May I was now with May at the time. And I was just so happy for you, man. I remember I was just like, man, like everything we've been through and everything that him and Sarah had been through, and like, he stayed the course, like he stood the race, man.
Yeah.
Like he finished, and I think that's when I was like in my head, like, you know what, I gotta be there for my brother, like because you know me, dude. I don't know if you know this, but I'll do anything for you, like straight up. I tell May all the time, like, it's funny, like you tell me something, dude, I drop everything I'm doing, dude, to go and help you, bro.
Yeah,
like, straight
same
up.
here, man. Same here.
And sometimes it's funny because May's like, May was like, what? Like, what are you gonna go do? I'm like, oh, my brother needs help. I go help my brother, like it's just how it is, It's just that bond, Yeah. I don't know if it's out of guilt just because of all the stuff we went through, but I think during that time was probably when you got married, and then. I just wanted you to be happy because I know how hard I was on both of you and Sarah.
Yeah,
I remember, me and my sister-in-law, we didn't have a good relationship for a really long time.
Yeah, definitely not.
She hated me, bro. I hated her. She hated me.
Yeah,
I didn't really. It was funny because it wasn't really a hate. It was just more of a. I guess it was a jealousy for me personally because, he's my brother, and it's kind of like. I felt like she was taking him from me,
Yeah, we were in a rough spot, but...
All of us, man, I think we were all learning together.
Yeah,
life.
for sure, yeah, dude.
I mean, if you guys don't know, we were all broken. All three of us, we all came from broken, Our mom is what glued everything together, Sarah's mom too, she's kind of what held... Sarah together, and then our mom as well held everything together.
And Michelle too. Michelle's sister helped her a lot, like raise her up, when Jody was, going down.
So. Yeah, because it's kind of hard, man. I mean,
we all had a similar background.
I mean, but I think, that question's hard just because, I did a lot of damage to you, and then, for a long time I was like, man, this guy, we're never gonna be on the same page, blah blah. But you're hard headed though. I will say that you are stubborn. You're more in ways. You're more like dad than
Oh hell yeah,
you would
for
ever accept.
sure,
Let me tell
for
you,
sure.
because when I talk to you,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
I am
it's
stubborn.
like you don't want to hear nobody else. Your mind's already made up. Like
Yeah,
it don't matter if
that's
you
true.
ask me if you ask me, hey, what do you think? Because at the end of the day, my opinion doesn't even matter, or anybody's, and I think that's what
Yeah,
bothered me for a long time.
yeah,
But that was my like insecurity though. Like
yeah,
that was my issues.
yeah,
Like I needed a sort of approval
yeah,
from someone in order to feel
yeah,
like the like it was the right answer.
yeah.
Like it had to be a specific person. Because May tells me all the time, and I still struggle with this. May tells me all the time, and she's like, "You'll listen to anybody except me." Like anytime I
You know
tell you
what?
something,
You know what's crazy is that I struggle with the same thing with Sarah.
yeah.
So what I
Oh
could
shoot.
say about that
Yeah.
is that that's from childhood trauma
Yeah, for
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
So like me and my brother, although we went through a lot, like growing up, like we tried to be good kids, and it's like everything we did wasn't good enough. Like it was like, oh, like and we
Yeah.
always wanted that approval.
Yeah.
So, like I feel like with that yeah, it comes a lot from our childhood, bro. Cause
But I like I think going back to the question though, as far as like I started to defend you. I don't know if you noticed,
yeah,
but
like yeah, that was one thing that my brother did do though. Like when my dad just went on me though, he would defend me, even though he couldn't stand me.
yeah, I would
He
always
would
defend.
still go at it with my dad and be like, "Nah, like what the heck? Like why are you picking on
And
him?
I'm talking,
Pick on someone like me." And he would take it for me. Like he would take like the yelling, the
during this time though, he was
uh,
living with me, but me, when I turned 18, me, I said, "Fuck this, I'm out of here. I'm changing
yeah,
everything." I did everything on my own.
yeah,
Everything. I did everything on my own, and and that's why I always tell our sisters. I said, "Hey, if you can do things on your own, just do it.
yeah,
Even if you're dirt ass broke, bro. Like you know me, dude. I've been fucking broke.
yeah,
Like I'm talking. I could. You saw how it was. You saw how it was. We cooked every day. I cooked every day. Feed
yeah,
you, feed us. Uh, broke, bro.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
but in the end of the day, no one can hold that against me though. And whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's nothing against our dad, nothing against mom. It was just more of like I wanted to be my own man finally. I didn't want no more grasp, you know,
yeah.
like
Cause yeah, that was a big thing. Is that in our childhood, like when they would do things, it wasn't like, oh, I'm doing this for you. Oh, no, I have to do this because of you.
yeah,
It felt like. So when we were growing up, when we wanted something, they couldn't afford it because
yeah,
oh, I have to buy you food. Oh, I
yeah,
have to clothe you. Oh,
yeah. There was no
like
such thing
you're
as
the
good grades in our
yeah,
house.
you're the reason why I'm broke.
Yeah, like cause
Like
it's like
and
this guy was the opposite of me. So I was the one in school struggled.
yeah.
I didn't have good grades, nor did I want any of that. I went to high school just getting into trouble. I remember, my mom lost her job because of me. She had to quit because of me, is what I mean. And it's a lot of stuff. And Matt was different. Matt was the opposite. Matt was straight A student, baseball player.
Yeah, high school I
Uh,
wasn't
uh,
straight, so
no, no, but I mean, you tried. But I mean, that's the thing though. If you weren't getting straight A's, that's because you didn't want to.
yeah,
It
for
wasn't
sure.
because you
Yeah,
weren't smart enough. For me, I've
yeah,
always had issues with. I don't know. It was like during the time I went to high school, it was like being the smart kid was trash. Like I don't know why I feel like that, but
yeah.
that's just kind of how it
It was
was.
the crowd you're in,
It was in
like
the
like
crowd.
like
Yeah,
like you were
yeah,
influenced by the crowd of
yeah,
like you were hanging out with the hoodlums, So it's like,
yeah,
man, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm too good to get grades. What the
yeah,
fuck? Like I'm
yeah,
gonna be in the streets. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah. So yeah, that's probably why he didn't want to get good grades for sure.
Yeah, but I think that's where, like, that's why I always defended you, like when you would get pissed off or something, or dad's writing you or whatever, I would always
Yeah,
be like,
because like he said, when I had something in my mind, and my pops would try to tell me that I'm wrong, I would stand my ground and be like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
right. You're wrong. And I
yeah,
would be right. And sometimes, most of the time, I would be right. But because I was a kid, he couldn't. He hated that. He was
yeah,
like, I'm your dad. Like, you respect me. There's a
yeah.
difference, though, between respect and being right, you know?
Right, 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 right.
Like, I feel like every person, every parent should teach their kids, like, if you're right and you love, like, and you're standing for something that you believe in, then you stand up, you know?
Right, right.
And,
Yeah, see, I was the
and I,
opposite though. I was the
yeah,
opposite, and I think I still am. I'm like that today. Like if we argue with our parents or whatnot,
yeah,
I'm the type of person just to say, okay, I'd
yeah,
rather just shut up and listen.
yeah,
And I learned,
yeah,
I've learned you're just not built that way.
yeah.
You're the type of person that if you got a problem with me, we're gonna solve it with our words.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
And I
think
and I gotta work on that too.
no, no,
Like
but I mean
sometimes it's a good thing, but sometimes it's not. Just depends on the
the situation,
situation.
right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think during this time though, like yeah, like I said, like your wedding was when like everything changed for me. Like man, I want that. Like
Yeah.
I want that. I want that kind of love for another person, and that's when I was with May, and then
Yeah, and you found it.
I've had it the whole time. I just didn't. I
That's when it clicked. Yeah.
like she started changing me in ways that I wasn't even recognizing, and that was
No,
the
definitely.
problem. Is I was still, when I first started, when I was with May, um, you know, I I was still trying to live like I was before, like without her, and
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and she wasn't with that. She was like, hey, like she told me straight up, like, hey, like it's either me or pretty much like the streets, that's how she told me, like
Yeah.
it's either me or
Yeah.
or you give all this shit up.
Yeah.
And that's when I slowed down on the drinking and started turning myself around. And I stopped being like, because you remember during all the stuff, like during the
Yeah.
time where I try to hurt you, we're not gonna get too into that, but
Yeah.
I know you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
But during that situation, May wasn't in the picture. I
No,
had
she
no one
wasn't.
in this
No.
picture, and May started teaching me the definition of love.
Yeah.
Like she started softening my heart, and I
And you
think
need that.
I
You
needed
need
that. Yeah,
that.
I needed that.
Yeah.
I think everyone needs that.
That's why God put woman on this earth, man.
Yeah,
Like
one hundred
really
percent. Yeah,
to soften our hearts
yeah,
and be our backbone, you know?
yeah, for
And
sure.
because like without Sarah, dude, I'm telling you, man, without Sarah, I wouldn't be where I am, honestly,
Yeah,
as a
no, 100%.
person.
Same as
And
me.
I fucked
For
up a
for
lot
May,
too, dude. Like I try to go back to the streets and stuff, like and she brought me back, like
she stuck with you.
she's stuck with me, yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I ask for forgiveness every day, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. No,
Yeah,
same here,
and
same here. Because I notice, one trait that we got, and I know it's the same for you, and I know it's the same for our father, and anybody else that struggles with this.
yeah,
We do damage, and then we seek out the forgiveness, and
yeah.
we already know, we
What the
already
outcome is gonna
what the
be,
outcome is gonna
but
be.
we
So
still gotta say what we
we
gotta
gotta say
say.
what we gotta say because we're men. That's
Yeah,
what, and that's not right. It's not
it's
right.
not right. Yeah,
Especially when you already know. Like dude, I struggle with this all the time. You could ask me.
yeah. Same here, dude.
I lose my temper and then boom, I'll say some shit I don't even
Take
mean.
off, yeah,
I'll say some hurtful ass
and
shit,
it's not
dude.
even like it's all verbal
It's
abuse
all verbal abuse.
because and that's where our childhood comes
That's
in.
where, yeah, man.
We grew up with verbal abuse, so it was like
Yeah, it comes easy for
it
us,
comes easy. All right, question number 4. If you could have lunch with someone who is no longer with us, who would it be and why?
Um, so thought about celebrities, but I probably would backtrack a little bit. I think I would ask, who I would like to have lunch with? Uh, Probably Uncle Jesse.
Oh,
You
okay.
want to know why? It's just because it was so hard to talk to him due to everything he had been through. Like
Yeah,
stroke, and he
yeah.
was already paralyzed from the
The
weight,
left side
left
down.
side
Yeah,
down. It'd be cool. I mean, Dad didn't have the best relationship with them, but that doesn't mean that they didn't care about us. I think
yeah,
and it'd be kind of cool to see like you never know. I always feel like there's so much negative there, But what if they were proud of dad for everything he did and everything? You know what I'm saying? Like we never know.
Yeah.
We would never know
Well,
because
Dad was there for him
yeah, he
till
was.
all the
Yeah.
way.
I got to see him.
Yeah,
I got to see him.
that's what's good about my pops, man. You know, like
Yeah.
even though he went through a lot with his family, we don't really hang out with any of our Puerto Rican side, but even though he'd been through so much with them and all the trauma they put him through, he was still there to the end. Like
Yeah.
my Uncle Jesse, like had no visitors. He had
Yeah.
nobody visiting him, and my dad was the only one always showing up. He would bring us, and like we would joke, and like this guy was paralyzed
And he
from the left
accepted
side down,
Christ.
and he accepted Christ. My dad told him like, "Are you,
Yeah.
are
The
you
only
ready to?
way.
The only way to heaven is accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. You
Yep.
know, are you ready for that?" And he said, "Yeah," and he asked for forgiveness,
Yeah. I
and
think
yeah,
I remember one thing though that I can remember about him was every time he saw us, he was happy.
yeah,
I think that's what I can remember. Even him laying there, dude,
yeah. He made
eating
jokes.
from a tube. He'd just be
Yeah.
clowning.
Yeah, I remember he was clowning on his roommate. This
Yeah.
guy doesn't shut up.
Yeah, but I think the reason why I choose him though is because I feel like I relate to him. Not necessarily like,
Mhm.
I was him in an area of my life. Like
Like so angry
so
and
angry, just out to hurt anybody.
yeah.
Not. Even till this day, dude, I'm still like I talk a lot of shit. Dude, like I'm a shit talker, dude. I'm a shit talker, and
Yeah.
and and even if I don't mean it, some people might not take it that way,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
think I think it'd be him, dude, just because, we don't really know our dad's family at all, like,
Yeah.
everybody asks me, hey, like, you know, your dad's family, this and that, and I, there's not really much I can say. I'm like, you know what, my mom's family is my dad's family, like that's,
Yeah, and like our dad's family was the church side of the family, like
yeah,
and Pastor John and
Pastor
them.
John,
Like our family like grew up in like so my dad like pretty much got taken in by our pastor
of our original
yeah, of
church,
our original
yeah,
church,
that we
but
grew up in.
yeah, he pretty much like is kind of like whether he likes it or not, he was kind of like our grandpa too in a way.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, so
yeah.
yeah, they're like Hawaiian, Mexican, and white, all mixed. So I think my dad could relate with that, being all like mixed and stuff. And but yeah, he didn't really grow up. He grew up with his Puerto Rican side, yes, but he
Hmm.
like kept us away from the Puerto Rican side. He had us grow up more with them. Like that was our family.
Like I always tell him all the time, it's like, I always tell dad, it's like, me, I tell him too, I say, why do you always feel like you haven't done enough to make it to heaven, like,
Yeah,
or in those senses, it's like, you know, you did the best you could without a dad, a
yeah,
mom, you raised us the best to your ability,
yeah,
like, I don't fault you for that, and I know you don't either. It's like, you were, I mean, whatever you were doing during this time, whatever, like when we were born and stuff, it's like you were kind of like just going off of the life you only knew. I mean, it's
mhm,
like until Pastor John came into the picture,
yeah,
but it's like everybody struggles, but I guess it would be nice to have insight on
yeah,
our dad,
mhm,
but there's people that are still on this earth that we could have lunch with
yeah,
to get those experiences, like Uncle Eddie. Like, Uncle Eddie, knew our grandpa from that side, and we've never known our grandpa.
yeah.
Dad
Even
never
Dad never
knew.
knew him. Yeah,
It's like, it's like a
yeah,
lot of stuff. Like there's family that are still alive that we could pursue that too if we ever wanted to. But
yeah,
I feel like for me though, it'd be cool to have Uncle Jesse just because of, from every time Dad talks about him, he was like a character. Like he was a
yeah. He has
comedian.
so many stories
Yeah, like
about him. Yeah,
comedian, dude. Like, and us, we like to make people laugh. That's what we
yeah,
do. Like,
yeah,
we're pretty funny. We always have a good relationship with people that
yeah,
that can enjoy some laughter.
yeah.
So
Definitely,
I
yeah,
think for me, that's probably who I would choose. Probably Uncle Jesse, just because
for sure.
it'd be cool. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like it'd be dope. Like,
yeah,
like, hey, like, I just feel like it'd be comedy, bro. Like a good
yeah,
time, like out of love, but it'd be comedy. Like,
yeah,
man, I remember when I was doing this, like
yeah,
up to no good, stupid,
yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, uncle, like, that's crazy.
Following up on that, I
Yeah.
think one of the big things about why Dad kept us away from all that was because religious point of view.
Right.
So I think for him, what we grew up on too, it's like for being a Christian, it was like if you're either all in
Yeah.
or you're nothing at all.
Right.
And I feel like my dad lives that way, in a way where like it's either you're all in or you're not a Christian at all. Like, you know,
Right. Right.
and that's where a lot of people, you know, judge Christianity and people that are Christian, because we try to live in this way where it's like we're the ones that are judging.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and that's where it's wrong, you know, because
Yeah.
we're not here to judge. We're here to live based off
At least
of,
you shouldn't be.
yeah, you shouldn't be judging people, because at the end of the day, everyone has their flaws and everyone has sinned, you know?
But I think one of the biggest things, the reason why Christianity is so like a target for people, is because Christianity are usually the people that fall short.
Question number 5.
All right.
It's going to be totally different.
Okay.
So, how did you know that your fiance, May, was the one?
Oh man, dude, just love, man. I mean, love conquers all, bro. It's true.
Yeah.
You know, you could be with the most, I'm talking, beautiful woman in the world, bro, but if she doesn't love you, or she doesn't take care of you, dude. One, you know, all right, this is a better answer. You want to know, dude? Every single day, dude, May make sure I have lunch for work, dog. Like, no matter what, bro. She could be dead tired, bro. Wash the dishes, done everything. She'll make sure, hey, you know, this is your lunch for tomorrow. You know, like, it's the little things. It's the little things.
Yeah.
You know, just things like that. You know, hey, did you, you know, even if I, you know, I do the laundry in our house, but she'll be like, did you wash your work clothes? Did you do this? Did you do that? I think it comes down to those little things where it's like, damn, like, this woman really cares about my will. You know, she makes sure I'm good. You know.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like you feel the love. You know, like those little things that, you know, it goes beyond affection. You know, it goes beyond, you know, it goes on beyond like personal attraction. You know, like whether I got, you know, good looks or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
And it just goes beyond that. I think that's how I knew, like, you know, she took someone that was in the dirt, bro, and like shined me up, you know, like,
Yeah.
like, you remember, dude, when she first came in, I was drinking every night and just up to no good, you know, kicking it with people that fucking, who knows if they gave a shit about me, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I could have died, and who knows, you know, like, but I think I knew she was the one when you want to do better for them. You know, like, you don't always. It's not just a selfish thing anymore.
Like, you're not living for yourself anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, and then you find someone that, you know, like, if I have children with this woman, like, I know my kids are good. Like, if I die, God forbid, you know, my kids are good. My kids will be raised right, at least. You know, like, they'll know that I was a good dad, you know, or like, I was a good person, you know, like, stuff like that, you know, like a woman that's not gonna drag you through the mud, you know. I can't stress enough, like, you know, I mean, our anniversary is coming up, you know, September 2nd.
How many years?
Well, I think this is gonna be number 7, 6
wow,
or 7.
Really?
6 or 7. I'm not 100% sure. 6 or 7.
I was like, we'll cut that out.
Yeah.
You'll be like, what? How you know?
One of those though. But it's just so much, man. She's been through it all. Like, the times I get drunk, she makes sure I'm all right. You know, like, she'll even stop. You know, she's not a big drinker in general, but you know, she'll make sure that I'm good. You know, like, I don't know, stuff like that. It's just a trip, bro. Like, you'll trip out. You'll know when someone's really in love with you when they go beyond just like what you expect, your expectations.
Yeah.
You know, you think like, oh, cool, like, I lay down with somebody, you know, whatever. You know, you do the do and boom, like, you think that's love, you know, like, and in reality, that's 100% of the time that's not true, you know, like, anybody can lay with anybody and do the do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you love this person, you know, and you know, there's nothing that she wouldn't do for me, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for her. That's how I know she's the one, like, 100%. Like, if she said, hey, I need you to do this for me, I'll do it. Like, it doesn't matter. I think that's how you know. Like, and then also, I think one of the big ones is you find a way to provide. Like, you find a way. Like, you're struggling. Say you're struggling with finances and whatnot, and
Yeah.
financially, emotionally.
Yeah.
You find a way to provide those things for your significant other. Like,
Yeah.
you find a way to be there for them, even if you're hurting or whatnot. And I'm not saying this is healthy, but you got to have a balance. And I feel like your one should balance you out.
Yeah.
So if you're going through something, you your other one, your significant other should be able to balance you out and
Yeah.
help you on that path. And the same thing though, you got to reciprocate that though. Like, if they're going through something, you can't be selfish. You got to be there for them as
Yeah.
well.
Like, I think what you're trying to say, what I'm getting at, is
Yeah.
a relationship is never 50-50.
Right.
Sometimes your significant other will be real low at that point
Yeah.
in their life,
Right.
and you have like, let's say they're 20% in your relationship, you got to bring that 80% in,
Right.
because they need help,
Yeah.
and sometimes same goes for you, and then they bring that 80% in.
Right,
That's
right.
where the real
That's where
love
that's when you
shows.
know the real love
That's
is there. And then
exactly.
and sadly though, I feel like there's still people that have that and don't acknowledge that, and that's sad. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like, like how you always say, like, how you always hear the saying, like, you talk to somebody and be like, man, I let that one get away, like.
Yeah.
And you know what? I feel like you just know though, like,
Yeah.
you just know, man. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. I feel like it really is hard to explain because
Yeah.
there's things that are done that you've been with. Say you've been with another woman before, and they do things a certain way, but you'll know, like, it's just above and
Yeah.
beyond. It's just like, what,
Like the actions build up
yeah,
to this point
yeah,
where, like, man, she's the one.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
it's not necessarily like a certain event that
Yeah.
where you just switch.
Like
but
I said,
more like it just build up to the point where, like, man, this girl.
yeah, like I said, like, for anybody that's struggling with this issue, and people that are trying to figure out, like, say you're with a woman right now and you're trying to feel like if she's the one, like, it's got to go beyond, like, anything, like sexual. It's got to go beyond that.
Yeah, because
You
sex
know?
you can get it anytime,
Yeah,
anywhere.
things like
Unless
that.
you're ugly. No, I'm just playing. I'm just
No,
kidding.
but
no, I'm just playing.
Honestly, though, for people that are trying to figure it out, I feel like it's a
Yeah.
little bit harder for people that don't like live on their own. Just because you'll never really know how a person is until you live with them. I do 100% agree with that.
100%. Yeah.
Luckily
it
I
can
was
either make you or break you.
luckily I was fortunate enough to be already living on our own when May moved in,
Yeah.
and I really got to know May. Like, she got to know me,
Yeah.
and I got to know her. But dude, I'm not saying that our relationship is perfect.
No,
People
yeah.
think just because you find the one, it's gonna be peaches and
Yeah.
cream. It's not, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, when I go home right now after this video, I have to go wash dishes, bro. Like, I already know. Like, I already told it. I said, don't worry. I'm gonna wash the dishes when I come back. I gotta go do this interview, but I'll be back. Hey,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
God forbid though, I don't do those dishes, bro. She gonna talk shit to me. I already know. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's the little things, bro. Like, for people that are struggling with this, people, you don't realize, we live in a generation now where if you think, if you were raised, traditionally, where you think that the woman does everything, I'm sorry, but we don't live in those times anymore. That's long
now,
gone.
Man.
Like,
if you're like, it has to be an understanding between you and your significant other. Like, you can't shame your wife just because you're not cooking for me, you're not cleaning for me. There has to be an understanding at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
I can't just sit down and just see my wife washing the laundry, folding the laundry, cleaning the dishes, cleaning the living room. Like, no, like who the fuck are you to, like, just sit there and watch your wife do all that after she just got off of work too.
Yeah. And then how many times do we hey, one of the best ones is
Yeah.
you see TikToks and all this bullshit all the time about you see your wife doing something and you're sitting on the couch watching TV,
Yeah.
and you'll go up like, You need me to do anything? Is there anything you want me to do?
Yeah.
You know what? Instead of asking, if you know there's
Just
something to
do
just
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Because say they, even if they clean the bathroom, whatever. How about you just go and do it? And I'm speaking for myself too. I struggle with this all the time.
Yeah.
I come home and
Yeah, because
my,
we have labor jobs, so
yeah,
like when we get home, we're exhausted.
yeah, right.
We already
But
gave our
that's no excuse though,
110%,
because
and it's not. Yeah, No.
my future wife, your wife, comes home and makes sure that dinner's made, or they'll say,
Yup.
"Hey, are you hungry? Let me make you
Yeah,
dinner." And
100%.
they're tired, even if they
Yeah,
have a desk job,
and they don't even complain about
and
it.
they don't complain about
Yeah,
it.
like I like now once as Sarah told me, I cook for you, I do this for you, and you can't give me like she never does that to me, dude. Like, so I make sure I always at least try to fold all the laundry,
Hold all the yeah.
do all the laundry. I
It's the
always
little
clean the
things, man.
bathroom.
It's
I
the little
always make
things.
sure she has flowers. When they're dying, it's the little, like you said, it's the little
It's the
things.
little things, and you never think that those things are what count.
But they
It's
do,
like
yeah.
they do. Like I said, it's the laundry. It's the little things, man. Even
Yeah.
for me, it's a little different because your space is a little different. Like where
Yeah.
I live, I take care of yard work and stuff like that, and Matt's got HOA and whatnot, so they take care of stuff
Yeah,
like
I
that.
got a
but
condo,
but
so-
for me, like I take pride in making sure that the yard is taken care of. Who cares? Even if she doesn't go back there.
Yeah.
But if she does want to go back there, it's taken care of.
Yeah,
You get what I'm
like
saying?
Angel is a really big person on taking actions in his own hands. Like if something's wrong with the house or something, like he'll go and like try to take care of it if he has.
If I know how.
If he knows how, yeah, like he'll go and try to fix it. Like me, I'm the total opposite. Like I'll pay. You got me fucked up. I'll pay somebody to go fix it before I like. If I don't know how to do it, I'm gonna pay somebody.
Yeah.
But I'll call him. I'll even call him
No,
once
but
in a
no,
while.
but,
Be
but,
like, hey,
but,
do you know how to do this?
But see,
Like,
it's different though when you live in a house where some things are covered and some things are provided.
yeah.
You don't have to stress about breaking things. Like
Yeah.
at our house, like for example, where we live, our grandma owns the house.
Yeah, it's
so
a
if I break
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yeah, so if I break something, it's like, all right, fucking now I gotta call somebody. But here it's like, you guys pay for this home. Like you guys have a mortgage on this property, and I understand. Like you guys take more pride. This is your home, so I
Yeah.
could understand if you don't want to go in there and make it worse than it already is.
Yeah.
That's different, of course. But for me, I feel like we struggle with that all the time. EMA, I'm nowhere. You see how California is. California's arm and a leg, bro, to
Yeah.
live here, and we don't live in the most beautiful home. We don't. Whatever. We live in a shack too, I guess you could say. But I think, like I said, it's the little things. If you can just, you got to go back to where like. You got shelter, food, and clothing. You're all right. Because
be content.
there's people that don't got that, and whether they want it or not, it's like you got to just be. I think that's where I'm at now in my life. I'm kind of grateful for what I got.
Yeah, for sure.
And I told you this before, and for people that are struggling with this too, because I know this is a really big thing with my generation, maybe even Matt's. But people feel like. We feel like we're failures if we don't own a home. I'm almost 30 years old, and I don't own my own home, and I don't know whether and to be honest with you, it's looking right now like maybe even the next 5 years I won't own a home. To be honest with you, and but do I feel like a failure? No. You know why? Because you got something to come home to. You got your backbone. Like you said, your wife, my fiance. That's hopefully this year we get married, God willing. You got something to come back home to, and it's like, if they're with it, you should be fine. Like, you shouldn't be trying to stress yourself out over this nonsense of this thing being told to you by your family or whatever, that you're a failure if you don't own a home.
Yeah.
Like
we were put on this earth to live.
To live, yeah.
Not to buy a home,
yeah,
a piece of property.
If
I
you're
bought a
fortunate
property.
enough, yes.
I bought a property because of my situation,
right?
Because I was married already, and I needed my privacy.
Right.
And I was living with my brother
right.
and his fiance. And
yeah.
And technically, that was my brother's like home, like I was living in. I was living with him more than like we were roommates. So it's like I needed to get
just due to
my own place.
Just due to the situation, the way the house is built.
Exactly.
There's no way we could have made it
Exactly.
There's no way the house was built for like, hey, you
Yeah.
got your own privacy, we got our own
Yeah, like the
privacy.
bathroom, we only had one bathroom and it
One
was in my
bathroom,
bedroom, so he
right,
always had to walk in my
right.
bedroom. Like,
Anybody did.
yeah, anybody, like
Yeah, it's
people
like
like from the living room, if you had people over, had to go in my bedroom while I'm
exactly.
sleeping,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it was just
It was
yeah,
just a bad
and it
situation.
was a bad
Yeah.
situation, yeah. So, but yeah,
But luckily the circumstances that, everything that happened, it allowed you to buy property. It allowed you to,
yeah,
and
COVID helped.
I'm pretty sure,
Mm.
I'm not telling anybody that if you have the opportunity to buy property, don't do it. I'm just saying if you're fortunate enough to buy property, go ahead, by all
Yeah,
means, but don't feel like you're a failure
if you don't
if
have a
you don't,
property,
and don't
for
make
sure.
and don't take it. If you're, I know, because I know a lot of people have a lot of first generational parents. We're all like,
Yeah,
oh no, mijo, you need to save your money, buy a home. But dude, a
yeah,
lot of the times, the way California pays is you're only able to make it check to check.
yeah.
Sadly, some people are trying to survive, and luckily for the ones that still live at home and live with your parents
Yeah,
and
and they don't see it as a burden for you living there. Like,
take
take
advantage,
advantage.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Save up,
Yep.
take that trip with your friends, with your family, because I wish I could travel more,
Hmm.
I have all these bills, the mortgage, HOA fees, all that. And I'm grateful that I own a home, I
Yeah.
got equity on it already that's building up,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like I envy people that travel,
Yeah.
because honestly, like we were put on this earth to see the earth,
Right. I
not
feel
not
that.
not to be a slave to a company and work a 9 to 5 every
That's true.
day and go in to work and man, I don't have enough vacation time, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's the way America brought us up, like
Yeah, and I feel like it doesn't matter what age you do that at. Like if
yeah.
you do it when you're young, like how you're in this situation right now,
Mm-hmm.
and you still make room to travel, I think that's great,
Mm-hmm.
because you never know when you have children, if that's in the plans, if you do have children, whatever,
Yeah.
that all changes, bro. That
Yeah, it
changes,
does.
and sadly, when you try to do these things, and if you're so used to a certain way of living, it all changes, man. So it's like make sure you have someone that is on the same page as you. Like,
Yeah,
make
definitely.
sure you find someone that you're not that's willing to, you know, you guys talk about the
Yeah.
goals, because it's like if you guys both have a different agenda in the long run, that's when you're gonna
Yeah,
hit
like
rock bottom.
if you're not on the same page, if you're with someone based off history,
Yeah,
yeah, it won't work. Honestly, like you need to be with someone that you truly care about and like you would take a bullet for this person,
yeah. Like when you hit rock bottom,
Yeah,
you got to make sure that person's gonna be there to lift you up, because
exactly.
like that's when you know. Like if you hit
Exactly.
rock bottom and
I think that's such a big deal, like people who hit rock bottom, like people think it's a bad thing, but the way I look at it, it's the best thing that can happen to you.
yeah,
When you hit rock bottom, you figure out that like God is there for you.
hmm,
God is going to pull you out of that rock bottom, You're the people he put you in your life is going to take you out of that rock bottom and build you into something that you never knew was possible.
it's funny that you say that. It's funny because I was watching, on Instagram. You posted a story with the comedian, the one
Yeah,
guy,
with Teal Vaughn.
Theo Vaughn. Like
And
what?
this guy is like this guy was a coke addict, this guy was a drug addict, and I never knew
Yeah, I
what
never
his
knew that
real
either.
point of view was on life. But this guy is a true believer of Jesus Christ and
Yeah,
God.
dude.
He really believes in God. He literally explained how he's like, I can't understand atheists. He's like, I can't. And I have nothing against atheists, I'm not here to judge or
Me neither.
anything,
Yep.
but it's just his point of view was I can't understand how you have a free lottery ticket that's already scratched and ready to win
Yeah, that was crazy.
and you won't take it.
Yeah, and you won't take it.
Yeah, he said I think it's because I was alone a
But you,
lot
you,
as a child,
you know
but
what? No, you know what? It's something you said to me when we were off camera,
yeah.
and it's funny that you just said that. it's the fact, the reason why people choose to not have God in their life is because they don't want the conviction.
Yeah.
When you're out doing something and you know it's wrong,
Yeah.
you don't want the conviction.
Yeah.
So when you have God in your life, you feel convicted no matter
Yep.
what you do. No matter, see, like, I go back for me. Like I said, right now I'm not going to church and stuff like that. And who knows? In my heart, I know I'm saved and washed by the blood, but you never know.
Yeah.
You just never know. You never know what's going to happen when you pass away. If you're going to,
Yeah.
who knows? Nobody knows. There's been nothing. Nobody knows what happens when someone dies.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. It's
facts.
still to this day.
Yeah.
You don't know even if you did accept Christ, you don't know.
Yeah.
But I do believe, I 100% believe that if you do accept Christ, that you're going to make it to heaven or whatever's next. I do
because
believe.
not only that, you live for
At least
like when you're a Christian and you really truly believe in these,
yeah.
the Bible, like you live in good morals.
I think it's sad for people our age that, and I'm speaking for myself too. I run from God. I still run from God to this day.
Like the world, like how I spoke on the last episode that
the world
influences you more than you influence the world. Yeah.
But I think that is going to happen no matter what because
definitely. Yeah, we're human.
I think people seem to forget just because you believe in God doesn't believe that the devil isn't real. I think the scariest thing though is the devil's the one that walks the earth, not Jesus.
Like I always tell people all the time, they're all like, "Well, if God is real, how come all this stuff happens?" I get asked that a lot. How come murder happens? How come rape happens? How come all this?
That's true.
I said honestly,
it's because
I said if this place was perfect, then this would be heaven.
All right, that's true. That's a good point of putting it.
Why would you even look forward to something if it was perfect?
Nobody said life was going to be easy.
Nobody
said
that.
And that's not
Jesus
saying
literally
that
died for our sins.
Hey, but you want to know another answer to that though? It's free will.
Free will. Yeah,
God
gave us free will. But at the end of the day, I just want to tell you that like God is there for you, you know? There was
God
consequences.
Is
love. You might have not made your bed, the way you wanted it to, but God has already made your bed as we speak, you know? Like maybe you had to go through something dark in your life to find the light, Like that's where rock bottom is so important. I had to hit rock bottom really bad to find the light, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is a good verse right here. It's 1 John 4:16. So chapter 4 verse 16. So we have come to know and to believe the love that God has for us.
Yeah.
God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him.
Exactly. That's why I said that on my last episode. God is love.
God is love, 100%.
If you know God, then you know true love. Like if you have God in your home, and I'm not trying to make this a super religious, podcast.
Right. We just have that upbringing.
This is just our upbringing, and if I have the chance to share it with you, I will.
Yeah. Because you never know, someone out there, you might be hurting.
Yeah, you might not think hurting. There's anything left, but just know that God is there. He's waiting. He's waiting for you to make that change. And nobody else is gonna make it for you. Or like how I go to therapy and stuff too. It's strong. Therapy is a good thing, and my therapist told me assumptions aren't facts. Thoughts aren't facts. Our brain tells us that we're not good enough.
Yeah.
Or like we're not doing enough.
Right.
We stress, but at the end of the day, you are doing good. And you will make it through the storm,
Yeah.
And, God has a plan for every single one of us. So
stay on the race, man.
Stay on the race, yeah.
We're all in the race. We're just trying to reach the finish line, bro.
Yeah, we're all in this thing called life.
Yeah, called life, bro. This thing called life. That's pretty much it is. We all struggle. Nobody's perfect, man. We're not sitting here. You guys have seen. We've answered 5 questions truthfully, and
you see how far we gone in this conversation. That we're not perfect. We
Yeah.
all go through things, and that's what this podcast is for. Is for
100%.
as long as we can reach one person,
Right.
to change their life around. If you're going through a dark time, I promise you, you'll see the light.
Yeah.
And like
100%.
just start thinking positive thoughts about not only yourself but for others as well.
Yeah.
And I totally convince you that you find God in your life too,
Yeah.
because God is love, and you will find happiness. I promise you. There's always going to be rough times. There will always be rough times in
Yeah.
your life. Like,
100%.
don't think there won't be rough
Yeah.
times. Like,
Don't
oh, I'm
think.
gonna find God and everything's gonna be perfect. No,
Yeah.
heck no. It's crazy, bro. Like,
Hey,
I
and don't
just,
and feel
yeah,
free. Hey, he has an Instagram. This thing called Live MA.
yeah,
Don't feel free if you ever going through something. Feel free to reach out to him.
yeah.
I'm more than positive he'll be
I'll
open
be
to a conversation, open
definitely,
to not necessarily, not even a like this how we're doing
yeah,
a video, just a private conversation. If you need someone to
yeah.
talk to, hey, you know what, I'm going through things, man. Can you give me some insight?
Yeah,
And
because I'm not perfect, man.
yeah,
I've been in a dark hole. I've done bad things, like,
yeah,
and don't think that I'm this like perfect Christian. Like, if you're a real Christian, you've been through things, and
yeah. Look, I don't
like
even go to church.
yeah, he doesn't even go to
You
church,
know,
and that's not a like bad thing, but if you have Jesus and God in your heart, like I promise you,
you'll feel better,
you'll
man.
feel better
You'll feel
in your
better.
life,
Like they say, when you're baptized, you're reborn new.
Yeah,
So
and you
so
have the
all
Holy
the things,
Spirit with you.
if you're holding on to all these pains and this stuff in your past,
Yeah.
if you want it to be washed away, truly washed away, it's the only way it's going to be washed is by the blood of Christ. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, let it go.
You got to be, once you're baptized, it's true. Like you come out of the water and you
You
feel
feel
new.
brand new.
I remember when I
Yeah.
was baptized. I remember
Yeah,
that. I remember when I was
there.
baptized and I came up and you feel like it's new.
Yeah.
Like the old you, if you truly believe in baptism, you're supposed to leave that past and that dead inside that
Yeah.
water. You're supposed to come up new.
Yeah, one of the main things that I got from Pops growing up, like one of his quotes, he told me, happiness comes from things that happen in your life, but true joy comes from the Lord.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like at first I'd be like, man, like, man, fuck out of here, like you're tripping,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm gonna be happy no matter what. But as I lived and I got like, I'm getting older, maturing more, I totally understand what he meant now.
Yeah.
His true joy really does come from the Lord, because he has a plan that you had no idea about.
Right.
Like, I never thought I'd be a tube bender and do all this stuff, And that's still, I know, like, that's not my true passion.
Yeah.
But I know that he put that in my life
Yeah.
in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
And I know that it's coming,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
know that I gotta wait for my time. Everybody has a different time too. Don't look on Instagram, man, this guy has a nice body, or man, this guy already has millions of dollars.
Right.
This guy has a nice
Your
house,
time's coming.
car. Your time will come. But don't give up on yourself,
Yeah.
Just because you believe in God too. I tell a lot of people, don't, like, people misinterpret the word content,
Yeah.
Don't feel like you're content and then stop doing what you're doing.
Right.
No, in order to get where you gotta go, you gotta bust your ass.
Yeah.
You gotta keep going. You gotta work for it. Just because you're going through a rough time right now doesn't mean you won't be saved. Like, your
Yeah.
time will come. Like, but it starts now.
Yeah. Starts now.
It starts now. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like, you gotta keep going. Don't give up. That anxiety, that depression over you, let it go.
Yeah.
Like how we start with our ups and downs. The ups will always overcome the
The
downs. So
If you allow them
if,
to.
if you allow.
If you constantly dwell on the bad, then the good won't be able to overcome the bad. And like you said, like he said, we're not perfect. Look at, we're drinking a couple beers. That doesn't mean that.
I'm not like, but I'm still here. Like, I'm not
We're not
like
letting you gotta. I'm not saying
to stop.
yeah
Like,
to stop
everything.
living the way you live. You just gotta know when you let this take control over yourself, that's when that's when it's in the wrong.
Exactly.
You
Like
know, when you let
when
this
you're
control
sinning,
you. Yeah,
and you have no remorse of what you're doing and that affect others and yourself,
yeah,
that's when it's a problem.
yeah,
Yeah. Like once I sin, I know like boom, like it's a problem. Like I gotta fix myself, you know? So
yeah.
yeah, so for sure. All right,
You ready to
man. Well,
close?
yeah, I'm ready
All
to
right,
close,
one hundred
man.
percent. It's a good
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a longer episode, but I hope.
Yeah, feel free, man. If this guy
Yeah.
reaches out to you, I mean, to come on the podcast, man, I 100%. I mean, I feel I it's a great experience, man. I mean, I could 100% say I feel full, you know.
Yeah,
Like I don't know,
like
like
you
you let
feel
it up.
good.
Like think
Yeah.
about it. If you've gotten all this stuff built up and you ain't got nobody to talk to, there's nobody here. It's literally me, him, and the dogs, bro. Like
Yeah,
they're the
yeah.
only ones that have heard this conversation, other than the ones that are gonna seek it out, you know. But
Yeah.
I feel like if you got things that are going on, don't think about it. They're complete strangers, you know. Like
Yeah.
they're strangers.
Reach out. Like even if I don't know you, man, that's what this podcast is here for, you know. I'm honestly doing this to help myself with my anxiety and my depression
Right.
and overcoming this thing. But
Yeah.
if I can help people along this journey with me,
Right.
then praise God, you
Praise
know,
God. Yeah.
like
100%.
you know, I can help you out, you know. This isn't a religious channel or anything, you know. This is just
This
a
is a thing
channel.
called life, bro.
This is a thing called life, you know. We all go
We
through
all go
it. We
through
all
it.
go through
Yep.
these
100%.
problems, you know, and we all have different upbringings, but you know, at the end of the day, it's up to your mind to overcome that, you know. It's
Yeah.
up to you.
Yeah.
You got to take action. So, yeah, what have you learned from this thing called life, bro?
Man, it's just an ongoing experience, bro.
Yeah.
You know, in the end of the day, you know, it's good to have people. You know, luckily you're my brother, and you know things. You know, I 100% make sure. Like I feel like if you have someone in your corner, man, just you know that are there for you, pushing you. You know, hold on to them,
Yeah, yeah,
because you're
definitely.
never gonna know when you're gonna need them. You never
Yeah.
know. And if they're there for you, and even if you've done wrong by them, you feel like you've done wrong by them, and they're
Yeah.
still in your corner, hold on to those kind of people, because those are the people that will never leave your side, bro. Through the goods and through the bads. You
Yeah.
know, whether it's your significant other, your best friend, you're just a friend.
Yeah.
Shoot, just somebody you meet on the street.
Yeah.
You never know, man. Those are the people that can change your life. You don't even know.
Yeah,
But you got to be open to
reach
that. I
out.
feel like you got to be open to that too.
Yeah.
But as far as learning experience, man, you know, I feel good. I feel good. I feel like we got a lot off our chest. There might have been things you don't even know that I had said in this podcast, and I think that's kind of cool. And I think there's
Yeah.
things that you told me as well that I didn't know, or whatnot. And you know, I just hope that this podcast continues to grow. You know, I know you mean well, and I know that you know you're just trying to help people, and I hope that
Yeah.
people can continue to. But one thing I do want to say is don't be discouraged when people come, you know, with the negative. You know, I
Definitely.
see
Yeah.
it all the time, and people will bash you. You know, people are gonna bash you,
No, for sure.
but
Yeah.
just you know, I know how you are, you know, just no, but just say, hey, you know what, you know, whatever it comes down to, Jesus loves you, bro. That's I think, you know, that's a powerful saying, man. People don't like that.
Yeah,
People don't like that when
People
you
are
tell them, hey,
scared of
Jesus
religion.
loves you. People be like, what? What'd you say to me?
Like
Blah
you
blah blah.
said, bro, the conviction.
Conviction, bro. But I
Conviction. Like
think
people like to live their life and not have nothing, no consequences.
yeah,
It's
but
a
this
big
might be the
thing, yeah.
longest episode you got on moving forward. This might be the longest episode
Yeah,
you got on this
definitely. Yeah,
sucker.
we're
So
brothers, so we can talk all
yeah, we can
day.
talk all
Yes.
day, man. We got stories for days. We
Yeah.
didn't even tell you the half of it.
Yeah. But thank you guys for tuning in on episode 2.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Angel, for
Yes, sir.
joining us,
Anytime,
man. I
bro.
really
Got
appreciate
you.
it. Love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
Thank you for everything, man. Yeah,
Hey, and we
and
love our family too. You know,
yeah.
dad, mom. You know,
Yeah,
our
even though like
sisters.
there's stuff that we experience, but we still love you, you
You
know,
know,
forgive
we
you.
don't hold nothing against anybody,
Yeah,
man. Like
definitely.
I feel like we've already had our personal talks with our family, and you
Yeah.
know, our family. You know, this stuff we don't hold on to. It's just the experience that we've went
Yeah.
through.
Just whatever like people go through that we can help,
Yeah, you know,
definitely we're gonna speak about it.
right.
And this is our testimony
Yeah,
kinda, you
testimony,
know,
one hundred
in our
percent.
life. So
Yep.
yeah, so yeah, thank you guys.
Tune in to
And
the next one.
yeah, tune in to episode 3. We'll have someone next week.
Yes, sir. Pat.